Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another figure review, and today we're taking a look at the latest CT Toys knockoff action figure with their Mafex No.001, the Amazing Spider-Man movie figure, and I am incredibly stoked on this release. I have been waiting for this for a long time. The original Mafex figure, of course, is an extremely rare piece, sells for a lot of money on the aftermarket, and so when CT Toys announced that they were giving us this bootleg, I could not wait to get my hands on it. It has finally arrived, and of course I want to take a closer look at it here on the channel. I want to compare it to some previous Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man movie figures, as well as some others, do some head swaps, and so let's not wait any longer. Let's jump right into the video. On the top of the packaging here we can see this cool image of the figure. This is a bit different for our Spider-Man movie figures in terms of the packaging, bringing in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 SH Figuarts and Tobey Maguire Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man SH Figuarts CT Toys bootlegs. We can see that they went for a bit of a different design, especially comparing it to the original SH Figuarts figures. But with this packaging, we get more of a display and we can see the figure sitting inside the box there. We get #1 in the top left and we get some more pictures of Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man logo, CT Toys logo. We get this side of the box, same image of the figure from the top, different image of the figure on this side, and then we get the back of the packaging here, and this looks sick. Let's get the figure out of the packaging. So let's do what we always do and take a closer look at what we get with our figure. We do get a flight stand with our CT Toys Spidey here. We get these two longer web whip effects. I feel like these aren't as strong as what we've seen with the SH Figuarts figures. I would probably prefer to use the SH Figuarts CT Toys knockoff web effects than these. I don't think these look as good, but they're not too bad. You've got that translucent plastic, which I think is a good web effect. But in terms of the sculpt, I don't feel like it compares very well to our SH Figuarts previous CT Toys knockoff effects. This web effect does look a bit better than the last two. I think the sculpted detail in this one is more impressive. You still got that translucent plastic. It's not going to port round his wrist, there is no bit at the end for that. And for a web line that's going to port into his hand for a sort of web swing, I would like it to be a wee bit longer, but again, I do think this is better than the previous two effects. We get a bunch of alternative hands. Let's start with the whipping hands. These look like they are sculpted pretty nicely, and the paint application on them looks really clean. You've got that textured detail on them as well, so these look great. You've got these web line holding hands, these relaxed loose hands. You've then got these wall crawling hands. And then lastly, we get these clobbering time fisted hands ported onto the figure at the moment. And that is it for the interchangeable parts and accessories with this figure. It does feel a wee bit less than what we're used to with our CT Toys knockoffs, especially when we got the additional Andrew Garfield head sculpt with our SH Figuarts CT Toys knockoff Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure. I do want to see what that head sculpt looks like on this figure here, but it would have been nice to get a custom Andrew Garfield head sculpt for our Mafex bootleg here. Nonetheless, we do get all the hands that we need, a couple of web accessories, but onto the figure itself, and starting with the head sculpt, I think this looks perfect. This mask looks exactly like it did in that Amazing Spider-Man movie, and in terms of the figures that I have in the collection at the moment, I think it beats out Marvel Select, and it easily beats the Marvel Legends, and for this to retail at £15, I think this is the perfect Amazing Spider-Man movie figure in this scale. The eyes look incredible, the way the light is shining off that yellow I think creates this amazing effect there. The rest of the head looks so clean, the paint apps here are so crisp, and overall the paint they've used on this figure, the red and the blue, I think not only does the head sculpt beat out the authentic Mafex No.001 figure, which of course is quite old at this point, but I also think the paint overall looks better, and I am incredibly stoked on this. I love the Amazing Spider-Man movie costume, and I think they've captured it perfectly with this head sculpt and the paints here. I do have the Hot Toys re-release pre-ordered. I'll definitely need to check that out here in the channel, but for now, it's the CT Toys version, and I am really happy with how this looks. Going on to the chest logo here, it looks great. The raised webbing, again, for the price that you're paying. I mean, Marvel Legends don't even give us raised painted webs, and we're spending more money on Marvel Legends than we are on this CT Toys figure. The texturing all over the costume just looks brilliant. The detail in the hands here, you've got the web shooter, which is looking really good. And just the way that the costume is portrayed on this figure here, right round to that back logo. Yeah, I think it's great. It does look as it's slightly misprinted. Do you see that? Like, you can see that the sculpt of the logo is just slightly to the left of the actual print. But overall, I don't think it's too noticeable. When the light hits it, you can see that it's just slightly over to the right, but I'm not getting too hung up on it, especially again for the price of £15. This is the best Andrew Garfield 6-inch figure that I have in the collection. They've just captured the suit so well, again, improvising with the colours and changing it up from that original figure. You can see the red is bleeding over just a wee bit there, not a big deal. Yeah, this looks great to me. Another thing is they've got the silver painted on the feet. That was something that Marvel Legends did, and I appreciated that. But it was something that the Marvel Select actually skipped out on, and I went over that with a silver Sharpie to custom the feet, because I do love the silver on the shoes, and I'm glad that CT Toys have done that on this figure here. Even at the bottom of the feet there, you've got the sculpted details. So this thing is absolutely incredible. I'm really happy with it, especially with the head sculpt. I think it looks 10 out of 10. Let's do some head swaps. So first of all, I've got this AKM Andrew Garfield Amazing Spider-Man 2 bootleg action figure head sculpt. I don't know if you remember that review, but it is probably the worst figure I've ever held in my hands, and it's quite funny to compare that bootleg action figure to the CT Toys bootleg action figures, especially this one here, and it just really shows how much CT Toys are killing the game right now. Unfortunately, this isn't really going to peg on very easily, but I feel like you could make it work. You could tack that on there, but I feel like the CT Toys body is really outdoing the head sculpt here. I don't think that is a very good match. Next up, we've got the Amazing Spider-Man Peter Parker Marvel Legends Walmart exclusive head sculpt, and it's fitting on there. You might want to use some tack to secure it on. It is just sitting on at the moment. And again, I feel like the quality of the body sculpt here is really just outdoing that Marvel Legends head sculpt. It will work, but it doesn't really look great. Yeah. The last Andrew Garfield head sculpt that I have is from CT Toys, and this is from the SH Figuarts Amazing Spider-Man 2 bootleg action figure. This did have the peg in the head. I just got some pliers, pulled it out. Let's see if it's going to fit onto our Amazing Spider-Man Mafex knockoff. So the pegs are different sizes. The head sculpt isn't going to pour onto that peg, but I did grab some blue tack and I've put the head on. It's staying on with some tack. And it does look the best out of all the head swaps that I've tried, but again, it does look a bit on the larger side. It even looked on the larger side on the original figure, being the CT Toys knockoff SH Figuarts. But I think it works to a good extent. I think this is going to work if you want to use it in photos. We will compare this figure to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 CT Toys figure in a wee minute, but for the most part I'm pretty happy with this. It isn't going to pour on, you are going to use some tack, but I feel like in terms of the quality, the previous two, bit outdated, bit rubbishy, talking about the AKM. The CT Toys, yeah, you're going to get a decent Andrew Garfield head sculpt for your Amazing Spider-Man 1 bootleg. So to compare our latest CT Toys knockoff action figures to some others that we have in the collection, I wanted to start this off by comparing it to the previous CT Toys Andrew Garfield figure with their SH Figuarts Amazing Spider-Man 2 bootleg. And with this being a Figuarts and this being a Mafex, I did think there would be a significant height difference, with Figuarts being smaller in scale than Mafex, but these look to be standing at the exact same height. And with our CT Toys figures being smaller than the originals, it's no surprise that our authentic Andrew Garfield Figuarts figure is standing taller than our CT Toys Mafex knockoff here. And it does surprise me every time how bad the neck is on this authentic Figuarts. I think it's pretty crazy how well the CT Toys is holding up next to this authentic import action figure. We've then got our CT Toys version of the SH Figuarts Tobey Maguire No Way Home Spider-Man action figure, and I actually think it's kind of cool that our Mafex CT Toys is the same scale as their CT Toys SH Figuarts, because it means if you have been picking up the CT Toys versions of these movie Spider-Man figures, your Amazing Spider-Man 1 Mafex is going to fit in well with them. Of course, we do have the Mafex No Way Home figures on the way. I do have them pre-ordered, and we can check out how they fit in with our CT Toys Amazing Spider-Man 1 figure, hopefully pretty soon. And then bringing in the authentic Tobey Maguire SH Figuarts action figure, this is still one of my favourite action figures of all time, especially with that custom Mohamed Farrell head sculpt on that thing. I cannot wait for the Mafex release. I hope I have as much fun with that figure as I have with this one right here. I think he is it doesn't scale too bad here, but I think he is standing a wee bit too tall to compare to our Andrew Garfield. I do reckon Andrew Garfield is a bit taller than Tobey, so it doesn't look terrible, but I would expect the Amazing Spider-Man to be a wee bit taller than Tobey Maguire here. And then to compare our new CT Toys Mafex knockoff Amazing Spider-Man figure to, I think, the two most accessible and budget-friendly Amazing Spider-Man movie figures. We've got the Marvel Select on the left and the Marvel Legends on the right. Both of these retailed for around £20. I can't remember how much a Marvel Legends was all those years ago. You're probably talking closer to the £18 price mark at the time that it came out, but you know, adjusting for inflation and whatnot, you're talking £24 for a Marvel Legends. Your Marvel Select was round about the same price. On the aftermarket, you can get the Marvel Select for fairly cheap. I think I've picked up an extra one of these because I do love that Marvel Select figure. He's way more bulky than he should be, but I think it looks pretty good here in figure form. He's not got great articulation, but I don't know, there's something about the figure for me, probably nostalgia, and I've managed to pick up an extra one of these on eBay for around £15. Marvel Legends I've seen anywhere between £20 and £30. Your CT Toys figure that's standing in the middle here and blowing both of these away is around £15 on AliExpress. I'm going to leave the link to the AliExpress store in the description below. If you're wanting to pick this up, head on over to Funly Toy Store. They are the official sellers of CT Toys, and again, you're talking around £15 for this amazing looking Amazing Spider-Man figure. And then to bring in a couple of newer Marvel Legends Spider-Man movie figures, we've got Tobey with the custom Farrell head sculpt again here on the right, and their stock Amazing Spider-Man 2 figure here on the left. This unfortunately isn't going to scale well with these Marvel Legends, but I do think the sculpt looks fantastic here, especially in comparison. And the Mohamed Farrell custom head sculpt here on the right I think is absolutely outstanding. And the CT Toys head sculpt here on the Amazing Spider-Man I think is holding its own. Again, it's one of my favourite head sculpts for a Marvel Legends, albeit not coming from Hasbro, but just to kind of get my point across on how much I like the look of this CT Toys figure. I think he looks great next to these Legends. It is unfortunate that he is on the smaller side. Bring in another couple of popular Marvel Legends Spider-Man figures. We've got the Renew Your Vows mold on the left and the AF-15 mold on the right. And then I don't have any Spider-Man movie Mafex action figures yet, and so here is our Mafex 185 Comic Spidey next to our CT Toys Bootleg Mafex No.001 Spider-Man action figure. And so there we have it for our Mafex No.001 Amazing Spider-Man movie action figure bootleg from CT Toys, and I think this is my favourite CT Toys knockoff action figure so far. CT Toys are giving us insane quality bootlegs for £15, and this is one of my favourite characters, Spidey, with this costume from that first Amazing Spider-Man film, and I think they have just done such a fantastic job in not only replicating the original Mafex, but in my opinion improving on it and managing to make it more reminiscent of that Amazing Spider-Man 1 movie by tweaking the head sculpt, changing the paint and changing the price for £15. You cannot beat this thing. I think it looks incredible from the sculpting at the bottom of the feet all the way up to that head sculpt. This thing is just beautiful, man, especially at the price point. I cannot get over that. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. While you're down there, if you could do me a massive favour, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, then please hit that subscribe button. I'm going to leave the link to my Instagram in the description below, as well as the link that you can find this guy over on AliExpress. I'm unable to really post on Instagram at the moment because my app is just incredibly bugged out, but hopefully I'll get back to posting there soon. I'm still active over there, so it would mean a lot if you could hop on over and check it out. It means a lot that you've watched this video right here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to hop on over to the channel page, check out any of my other videos. I have reviewed, I think, most if not all of the CT Toys knockoff action figures at this point, and I will continue to do so. Let me know what you want to see from CT Toys next. Again, thank you for watching, folks, and I'll catch yous on the flip flop later. Cheers.